This is Lenny from Live the Adventure. Today I wanted to discuss a knife, the Bark Rivers Gameskeeper II. I recently got my hands on this knife and I've been utilizing it. Last winter camping video, I put it through a lot of rigorous testing of splitting wood and doing camp tasks, and I thought it did really well. One thing that I really liked about it was the fact that it's a very thick blade, and that thickness helps when splitting big pieces of wood. The blade is a little bit longer than your normal bushcraft knife, and it comes out to about 5 inches blade length. The overall length of the blade is 10.375 inches. Blade thickness comes out to 0.22 inches, which is actually quite thick. Also, the fact that it is a little bit more robust and a little bit lengthier, it allows you to do tasks that a simple bushcraft knife that's a little bit smaller maybe isn't so good at. I thought it was almost close to ½ an inch thick, but I think I was exaggerating just a little bit. The steel on this blade is actually A2, and that is actually harder than your O1 tool steel, which most bushcraft knives utilize. It'll keep its edge longer, but it'll take a little bit more effort when you need to sharpen it. The blade style on this is a drop point, and it is a convex grind. The handle is made of micarta, and in this case it's almost like green micarta that I'm using on this one. It has a loop for a paracord. The only thing that I would have to say about that is you need smaller paracord. It's not going to fit the normal paracord size. I had to get a 425 paracord in order to put the paracord on the end here. When using it for hacking, one thing I would say is definitely have a piece of paracord on there, because when you have gloves and it's cold, your hand could easily just lose grip of that knife and you could actually hurt yourself. So having the paracord allows you to put some fingers in it if you need to, and then hold on, and if you do lose it, the knife's going to stand in your hand. So that's one thing I do suggest, is you do get a paracord into this knife. The weight of it is 7.45 ounces, which isn't too heavy. Its main use that Bark River actually made this knife was for skinning big game like elk. So any kind of hunter, this would be a knife that you would want, because it's going to allow you to choke up. That's why it has this neck here on the knife. It allows you to choke up on it so you can get in some really fine skinning abilities if you're caping out the animal. So that's one feature of it. So this knife is meant more for hunting. It's not as much for bushcrafting, but it can be used in camp chores. I put in 9 days of hunting trying to find an elk or a deer that I could actually show this knife being utilized, skinning an actual animal that I had harvested. But sadly, I was unable to do that. You can actually see some of the hunt in this link above, but I was unsuccessful. So the most I could show an example was my camp chores when I went winter camping, and my last video that I posted on Friday that showed me having a bushcraft lunch in which I was splitting more wood. It splits wood excellently, and I have no complaint about it. It does all of the camp chores that you would need to. I would almost say you don't need an axe when you have this knife, because it is so large. The fact that it is large allows you to have pieces of wood that are thicker in diameter, and allows you to split those. I even was able to split some pieces of wood that were about the length of my arm. Not really super thick, but they had knots in them, and it was very lengthy. And the knife did and performed excellently. So in my book, this knife is meant for hunting, and it has that purpose that you can choke up and you can skin out an animal really easily with this knife. But I also found it has a multi-purpose, that it can be used when camping and you need a knife to split wood, create your fire. And it also, one thing that I really like about Bark Rivers, I really liked that their knife has a very sharp 90-degree angle on the spine. So when you go and you use the knife to strike your fire steel, you can get really big sparks off of it. I even had instances where I was using this knife and I actually was able to shave off pieces of the magnesium, and it didn't actually light up. I don't know if it was just too cold or if I didn't strike it fast enough, but I was quite amazed that the knife is able to actually shave off pieces of the magnesium. I also really like how Bark River has done their leather sheaths. They're very high quality leather sheaths, and they come with the fire steel loop. This one actually fits my bigger fire steel, which is really nice because I have another knife which actually doesn't fit it. It's a really tight fit. And so I can put my fire steel in there. I can wrap a paracord around there and it's not going to come out. So works out great. One thing I would have liked is to have a hanger, because I don't like having the knife really close to my my side. I'd like it to be a little bit hanging down, so when I put it in, I can kind of mess with the sheath and place it into place. So that's the only thing that I'd suggest to anyone that does purchase the knife. You may want a knife hanger as well, just so you have a little bit extra room so it hangs down from your waist rather than having it tucked up real close to your waist, especially when winter camping. One thing that I have found is that when you're winter camping, you're wearing more puffy clothes. I had a vest on and I was trying to put this knife in, so I'd have to move this vest out of the way so I could see the sheath because it was really close to my body, rather than having this this hanger that I've made out of paracord. So I used this last time when I went bushcraft lunch. Worked out excellent. I really like the hanger, and I'd really just like to have a leather hanger, and that would make it perfect. That's more preference than a complaint about the actual product. And I'm sure a lot of other people feel the same way, just preference. So this has been an excellent knife for me, and I'm going to continue using it. Bark Rivers Gameskeeper II. I will keep this knife in my arsenal of knives for when I go out and I go bushcrafting, go winter camping. If I want a bigger knife, or if I'm going hunting and I need to skin an animal, this is definitely a knife that I want with me. So if you guys want to find out where you can get this knife, you can go into a link down below. It's an incredible knife, and the steel is definitely top notch. I hope you guys liked this knife review. If you did, like it, share it. If you aren't subscribed and you want more content like this, I do bushcraft, I do anything that's adventurous. I've gone out to Yellowstone and done backcountry camping into the heart of Yellowstone, which is really fun. If you aren't subscribed, you can subscribe right here, and you can keep posted on my new adventures, as well as you can look into the old adventures that I've done and see what those were like. Thank you for watching Live the Adventure. This is Lenny. See you guys.